Nimble News, the truth unfolds.
هذا هو حال مسجدكم. الله أكبر.
Jacob, you know this is not your house. You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
If you want to look at the history of this, you have to go back to 1876. There were two Jewish small communities, Faradi and Ashkenazi, bought some land in Sheikh Jarrah. Because it's a holy place, there is the tomb of Shimon HaTzadik. And they built some houses there, and all in all lived peacefully with their Arab neighbors. Then came 1948. People fled the war. Mainly it were Palestinians that were pushed out of their houses or fleeing from the war. But there was a case also of Jewish small communities fleeing from the eastern side to the western side. Until 1967, East Jerusalem was under Jordanian, and these families that lived there were compensated and being rehoused inside Israel. The Jordanian, together with UN organization, built on this land that used to be owned by Jews. They built some 28 houses for Palestinian refugees. They were promised by the Jordanian government to legalize their residency there. 1967 changed the nature of the conflict by the occupation of East Jerusalem by Israel, the annexation, and gradually some settlements or organizations close to the settlements realized that they can go and demand these houses through the legal system. And it has to do with the absentee property law that Israel enacted already in 1950s. Those Jewish refugees, and they were refugees, have the right to go and claim it and to claim the place back. Those are not the families or the heirs of the families that used to live there. And that's what makes it political. Sheikh Jarrah is a Palestinian neighborhood. The vast majority of people live there are Palestinians. Also, its location so close to the old city. You're talking about the settler community, and probably the most extreme part of the settler community that deliberately wants to live there in order to prevent Jerusalem from ever becoming the capital of a future Palestinian state. They are very weak when it comes to Israel because, bear in mind, they are not citizens of Israel. They are not citizens of Palestine because Palestine is not a recognized state. You can trace the ownership of these places to Jewish people. I don't think many dispute it. I think it just opened an all new Pandora box of ownership, which again doesn't legally play into the hands of Israelis. Because while we are talking about very few Jewish families have legal rights for properties within what is the West Bank and East Jerusalem, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Palestinians which can claim the same thing about property inside Israel and in West Jerusalem.